Once famous for its post-war electronics markets, Akihabara has evolved into the global heart of anime, games and electronics. Neon signs, themed cafes and specialty shops line the streets, making the district not just a place to visit, but an experience that captures the spirit of modern Japanese pop culture. Akihabara serves as the primary setting of Steins, with many of its key locations directly inspired by real streets, buildings and landmarks in the area. Many of these locations remain largely unchanged, despite the original visual novel being over 15 years old. This allows fans to explore and experience the setting much as it appears in the game and anime. Today, we'll be showing you the real-life locations in Akihabara and beyond that inspired Steins, highlighting where they are. So grab your lab coat and let's start exploring. Before we begin, we'd like to mention that a full map and detailed guide showing how to reach all of these locations featured in this video is available on our website. You can access it via the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on the screen. While both Steins game and anime feature many real-life locations, we've chosen to focus only on places that played a key role in the story or that we believe are worth visiting. Akihabara's identity was shaped in the aftermath of World War II, when the area became a center for electronics and radio parts markets during Japan's reconstruction. By the 1950s and 60s, it had firmly established itself as a town, filled with small shops selling home appliances, radios, TVs and spare parts. In the decades that followed, as home electronics became mainstream, Akihabara gradually transformed, embracing computer culture, which later brought in anime, games and otaku communities. This history of technology, innovation and subculture is what gives Akihabara its unique atmosphere today. And there are still plenty of shops that sell electronics, from radios and phones to home appliances, TVs and so on. Let's start at Akihabara Station. Featured countless times across nearly all Steins media, it is the heart of the district. Served by the Yamanote, Keihin Tohoku and Chūō-Sōbu lines, the station is well connected to the rest of Tokyo. One particularly cool detail is that the Tohoku Shinkhansen passes directly through the station. If you go to the second floor of the McDonald's at the bus terminal, you can get a nice view of passing trains. Heading south from the bus terminal, you'll arrive at Kanda Fureai Bridge. This location appears several times in the anime, most notably as the place where Okabe waits for Lukako before their date and as one of the locations where Mayuri dies. From here, you can walk across the river alongside the railway tracks to reach Yanagimori Shrine, the location of in-game Yanabashi Shrine. In-game design is however based on the nearby Kanda Myojin Shrine, which is much larger and actually resembles the in-game look. In-game, characters mention that the shrine is next to the Kanda Fureai Bridge, which means that the in-game shrine is located in place of the real Yanagimori Shrine. We recommend visiting Kanda Myojin Shrine, as it is quite beautiful and offers quite a contrast compared to the rest of Akihabara. Continuing west along the river, first bridge you'll encounter is Manseibashi Bridge. This bridge appears multiple times in the series, for example, a scene where Okabe and Kurisu carry the box containing the IBN 5100 across it. It is one of the oldest standing structures in Akihabara, as it was built in the 1930s. Crossing the bridge brings us back into the main heart of Akihabara. Take the second street on the right and you'll arrive at perhaps the most famous Steins location of all, Radio Kaikan. Originally built in 1962 as the area's first high-rise building, Radio Kaikan initially housed electronic parts shops, before gradually shifting toward otaku-focused goods as the culture evolved. Due to structural concerns, the original building was demolished in 2011 and a new 10-story, 46-meter-tall version opened in 2014. Today, it's filled with stores selling anime, manga and related merchandise. In Steins, the building is always depicted in its original form, but even the new building somewhat resembles the old one. And yes, when we visited, we made sure there wasn't a satellite crashed on the roof. Returning to the main street from Radio Kaikan, You'll immediately see the railway bridge used by the Chūō-Sōbu Line trains entering and leaving Akihabara Station. This bridge appears frequently throughout Steins Gate media, and for example in Steins Gate 0, where it is destroyed and collapses onto the street below. Beyond the bridge lies Chūō-dōri, Akihabara's main street, lined with anime, manga and video game stores. And we'll admit, while filming this video, we spent far too much time and money inside some of these shops. The street was shown several times in both the visual novel and the anime. It is most notably remembered as the place where Okabe stands when people around disappear, as the word line shifts. On Sundays, Chūō-dōri is closed to traffic for several hours in the evening, transforming the area into a lively pedestrian-only zone where visitors can freely explore the street on foot. And it is quite weird feeling, standing in the middle of a 6-lane junction. We would highly recommend visiting on Sunday, as the area has a great atmosphere, with all the shops bustling with activity. Heading back toward the station from Chūō-dōri, you'll arrive at a square with pedestrian bridge that leads toward the nearby UDX building. This area also appears multiple times throughout the series. Standing on the bridge offers a great view of the square below and trains coming in and out of Akihabara Station, a surprisingly panoramic and calm spot despite the busy surroundings. Cross the bridge and pass through the small plaza in front of the UDX building, and you'll find a pleasant area with trees and plenty of seating. Even though we are just one street behind the busy Chūō-dōri, this back street is very calm and a nice place for walk. This side street is also where Mayuri gets hit by a car. There is a small street on the left, where the coin locker with IBN 5100 was located. If you however continue parallel to Chūō-dōri, you will reach Faris' apartment building. Walking west from the apartment building, you'll arrive at Horin Park. This small park appears several times in the anime, most often during conversations between Okabe and Kurisu just outside the lab. And speaking of the lab, just a few meters north from here, you'll reach the street where the future Gadget Laboratory is supposed to be located. While no building perfectly matches its in-game appearance, it's easy to see how the surrounding architecture could have inspired its design. And just around the left corner from the lab is Café Lish, a real maid cafe that inspired May Queen Nyan Nyan Cafe. The entrance design closely resembles its Steins Gate counterpart, though unfortunately we weren't able to check the interior due to time constraints. As you can see, the sun was already setting, and we still had few locations to visit. Next stop is Ochanomizu Station. Located in Chiyoda, this station is the site of one of the title's most disturbing moments, where Nae pushes Mayuri onto the train tracks. The station is served by multiple rail lines and the Tokyo Metro, featuring both underground and above-ground platforms. However, it's clear from the anime that the scene takes place on the underground platforms. The last place we are going to visit is Tokyo Big Sight in Ariake. This distinctive building has appeared several times in games and anime as the location of the Komima event that Mayuri visits. Ariake is located right next to Odaiba, an area we recommend exploring as well. We'll explain why in a future video focused on the real-life locations of Anonymous Code, which features many spots around Odaiba, so make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss it. For any Steins Gate fan visiting Tokyo, Akihabara is almost certainly a stop along the way. Having so many key locations situated within walking distance makes it easy to explore. Akihabara is a district that reinvented itself several times during its history while never losing its identity. Whether experienced through fiction or explored in real life, Akihabara leaves a lasting impression. A reminder that some places are more than locations, they are worlds of their own. As mentioned earlier, you can find a full map and detailed guide to all of these locations on Kirikiri-Basara, or simply scan the QR code on the screen. If you are planning your own Steins Gate pilgrimage, we hope this guide helps you plan your trip. This video has been made possible by our patrons. If you'd like to also support our work, check out our Patreon. There, you will find a behind-the-scenes look at how we filmed this episode and much more. Thank you for your continued support. In the next video, we are heading back to Shibuya to discover the real-world locations of Chaos Child. Until then, thanks for watching and see you on the next stop of our journey to Tokyo.